Kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to not only the Sarasun SETI YouTube page, but the General SETI YouTube page, two dynamic powerhouse institutions on YouTube giving you nothing but black divinity, black power. I want you to subscribe immediately. Do not hesitate. I want you to become a member. The link right down in the video description is in the chat. All you have to do is just click it. You get a video introduction, run down on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarasun SETI General SETI YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. The General got a new website on Teachable, uploading a lot of dynamic curriculums, powerhouse programs, certificate courses. The first one up to 25 steps to the redemption of definitive black manhood, just for the brothers, just for you, King. You need to get on over there and sign up for this, man. This is a developer of morality. You see standards, high standards, a vision, laying out blueprints, you feel me, for success. Get on over there, check it out. We got the Brotherhood of Heru Roundtable live stream once a week. Brothers sit down, discussing very valuable information that's pertinent to their growth and development. Get on over there, brother. Check it out. That's right. Ring the alarm, kingseti.com, online marketplace, official General Sarasun SETI, DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family. Get over there, check out that catalog, get a discount, shop and save and shop. Pull the fire alarm, generalseti.com, SETI University, over 2,500. Did you hear what I just said? 2,500 videos, 40 different subjects, all the subjects that you know and love from the General. Mecca, ancient Egypt, Nubia, ancient India, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, blueprint for black power. The black woman is God, making her the white man, and so many more. No other website out there could compare or compete. You should become a member today. And since we own we own our cosmological spirituality tonight, I want you to be over there on Patreon after the first two live streams on the Easter religion. We most definitely going over to Patreon, and we're going to get into where is the ancient Egyptian heaven. This is all tied in, so we're going to do it big tonight. Make sure you over on Patreon. Just sign up, family. This is going to be on the intermediate scribe level. We want you in the house. Make sure you're there. And to all the family out there that donate to the General, I appreciate you. I thank you. Those would like to donate, the link right on the screen in the chat video description. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King SETI, General SETI, Sarasun SETI. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. And so today, we won't say, we don't want to get into, a derogatory term, pagan, but for many people that believe anything outside of Christianity, anything outside of Islam, anything outside of Judaism is quote unquote pagan. Okay? Which really, when you think of the term pagan, alludes to the veneration of the god Pan. You see, veneration of the god Pan. So that's where you get pagan, and that's, and when you're dealing with Pan, you're dealing with a goat god, which is, connected to shepherds. And so that's where you out in the wilderness, you see, in the heath, and this is where you get heathen. Okay. But that's not necessarily so. This has nothing to do with Pan. But these are cosmological, spiritual concepts that existed long before today, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Okay, these are theological concepts when we dealing with Easter. Just the other day, we had Good Friday. Don't know why it was good, because it wasn't good for Jesus. It was good for everybody but Jesus. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't good for Jesus. So we have to get, matter of fact, I'm going to add that to the night, you know, what was so good about Good Friday. You see, we're gonna talk about that. And see, it alludes to something outside of what's commonly thought of. Now, when we deal with Easter, this is Passover. You see, and you can see the sun behind me passing over the equinox. Okay, and so when we talk about the equinox, that means at that time, sun, day and night are equal. You see, the equinox. And so the sun is now passing over where it's already passed over, the spring equinox. Matter of fact, let me get this visuals up in here so we could go to work for the family. They tried to shut me down on being able to show my visuals, but I think we'll be all right today. Come on. Okay. Bingo. Here we go. Okay, good. Let's see if we can go to work. Man, I was looking up there, man, years back. I done been doing this lecture for a long time and shit. And my Easter video is one of the shit top goddamn videos on the subject. You know what I'm saying? On the internet. Let's just deal with that fact. You feel me? Okay, let me get that on up out of there. We're gonna get down on that tonight too. Okay. So now a lot of people say Easter is connected to Ishtar, Astarte, which are all variations of the great goddess Aset. You see, the great goddess Aset. Also, we got to throw Venus in there. You see, because when you're talking about Good Friday, you know Friday is sacred to the goddess Venus, and we'll show you the similarities, and people wouldn't believe it. See, people don't. Once you understand Greek mythology, and you have to understand, and you will see the presence of Greek mythology in the Bible, but then you got to also understand that many of the Greek gods and goddesses ain't nothing but ancient Egyptian knockoffs. You know what I'm saying? But we have to understand that when you're dealing with occultism, a lot of time it's a gumbo of many different ideologies and philosophy. It's a gumbo. You know, it's not no one thing. Okay, and so now, of course, this is solar worship, no doubt about it. It's astrotheology, because when we talk about again, we was talking about the spring equinox. Now, the spring equinox this year, let me get here. It fell. Let me see which day it fell on. It fell Friday, March 20th. Okay, well, no, that's for 2026. Why they ain't got 2025 here? I don't know why they jumped that damn high up. But that show you, and I'm gonna show you why Easter is never on the same damn day. You see, it's never on the same goddamn day, because if it has something to do with a man, whatever day you die, goddamn it, that's gonna be what's on your obituary. Okay, you ain't gonna have it. Ain't gonna be no goddamn. So it was March 20th. Okay, the spring equinox was March 20th. It's the same. So it's obviously okay. It's the same day. So no, no, I don't know why I keep like, what is y'all doing? I ain't asked for damn. So it's March 20th. It's still March 20th. Okay. So March 20th was the spring equinox. And so when Easter will be, you have to, once you get to the spring equinox, which was Thursday, March 20th, the first thing you looking for is the first full moon. That's what you're looking for. You see, and the first full moon is when they'll have Passover. You see, now what you have to do then, the first Friday after, usually the first Friday after Passover is Good Friday. The first Sunday after Passover is Easter. Okay? So when we see this year, it was March. We see the spring equinox this year, March 20th. It is March 20th, and so the first full moon after that was April 20th. You see, wait a minute, let me make sure. The full moon, what is called, okay, is also known, okay, the full moon before Easter is called the pastoral moon. Okay, also known as the ecclesiastical moon. In 2025, this full moon will be the April's full pink moon occurring on April, 12th. Okay. So April 12th, and Easter Sunday is always the first Sunday after the pastoral full moon, making it April 20th, 2025. Okay. So let me get here. Okay. So Passover was evening of Saturday, April 12th. That was the first full moon. Okay. Until April 20th from when I believe 12. No, I believe it's sunset. I don't think it's got anything to do. Soon as the sun set, you see, then that's the beginning. When the sun set is the beginning, which on the evening of Saturday, April 12th, when the sun set, that's the beginning of Passover. You see, to the next day. You see, until the next day, is which April 20th. And so from full moon to full moon. Okay, from full moon to full moon. So April 20th. So then from that, which is a Sunday, but that's not the Sunday of Easter. You got to go to the next Sunday. You see, you got to go to the next Sunday, I believe. Well, that is the 20th. So it's more than just Passover is more than just a day. You see, it's more than just a day. Let me get it straight. It's more than just a day. So it's from the evening of April 12th to Sunday of April 20th, which just happens to be Easter. So I guess that's why they say Jesus died in during the time of Passover. He died but all of this, again, this is astrological. This ain't got nothing to do, because if you check all the dates and see what when Easter fell, it'll be different. And that's because it's based off of the first full moon after the equinox. Is not the same every year. When that full moon come up, it's not the same every year. Now, last year, when was Easter? Easter 2024 was March 30th. Okay, March 30th. This year is April 20th. So you talking about you talking about 13 damn you talking about 13 days. Not 13, but 11. I don't know what I'm talking about. 11 days. You talking about 11 days from last year. Now, if you go to 2023, it fell April 9th. So you can see from Easter 2024 to Easter 2023, you talking about damn near 20-some days. You talking about 20-some days. Yes, 21, 22 days. 22 to be exact. So if it was about a man, it would not change. When you die, the day you die does not change. Okay, so if they really knew the day that Jesus died, then it would be no way that it would change every goddamn year. And so this has been a spring festival around the world, and depending on where you located, you see what I'm saying? Depending on where you located, it variate when spring actually comes. For some people in the damn southern hemisphere, you see it's there early. For motherfuckers in the northern hemisphere, it's shit. You might not see no damn, even though the date say, oh, it's spring, you go outside, it ain't no goddamn spring. And so that lets you know that fixed calendar a lot of times is not always right. You see what I'm saying? Based on, if you take a cookie cutter goddamn calendar and you just say, oh, this is, and everybody around the world say this is Easter. A lot of motherfuckers, and it's supposed to be spring, a lot of motherfuckers, it's probably still snow on the goddamn ground. If you go up in them northern regions, it's still snow on the goddamn ground. And so, it varies on, where you at on the planet. So we making one thing clear off the jump that, because they saying that this is about the SON, and it's not about the SON, it's about the SUN. Okay, these holidays is based on, the sun and the moon. You see, the placing of the sun and the moon based on the calendar. Okay, based on what they presuppose is spring, what they presuppose to be, the sun, but the sun passing over the equinox could be proven. You know what I'm saying? Now, whether it's spring where you at, that's something totally different. You see, it very well, like I say, the weather it'll variate. So, you could keep a 365-day calendar. That don't mean the season's gonna fall the same day everywhere. But you're gonna have motherfuckers practicing Easter the same day in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And it's supposed to be a spring festival, and that's just like Kwanzaa, which is a spring festival, but a harvest festival, but they practice it in the fucking winter. And so whether they believe it's a southern hemisphere festival, and it very well could, but we in the northern hemisphere. And so it don't have no precedence, for you to have a goddamn harvest festival in the middle of goddamn winter. And so this is where we fall, when you cookie cut some shit. But that just show you that the ancient Egyptians is the ones that created it. And everybody follow behind. They follow behind. And a lot of times they be totally out of sequence with reality based on where they at. Like I say, it could be spring in Africa or in the tropical regions. It could still be goddamn winter in the north. So we're clear about this, that this is a solar practice, and you can see it in all of the icons. You can see it in all of the icons. Now a lot of people talk about the rabbit, and so the rabbit is a solar deity. You see, in many parts of the world, the rabbit is a solar deity. And they equate a lot of times the rabbit, taking that leap or spring into a new year. And really, this is the new year, not in goddamn December or no, the new year is when the sun comes forth. Everything is dead until that time. And so when the spring springs forward into, you see new life. You see the trees take, begin to fill up again. The leaves, they've become full bloom. The grass is green. The flowers start to come out. And just not, just the other day, you see the rabbits and shit get to dashing all through the goddamn, all up and down the goddamn street and shit, and this, that, and the third. Yeah, you see the rabbits. And so the rabbit, one thing, is equated to that time of spring. And so it's a solar zoo type, just like, in Egypt, Horus, the falcon, is a zoo type, and so in many parts of the world, the rabbit is also a solar zoo type. And so this is why it's equated to spring. And also, because spring is a solar festival, the rabbit, and it became, equivalent in many instances to the veneration of the sun. Okay. And so when you see here, the sun is passing over the equinox. Let me see right here. Passing over the equinox. And so many times you will see the rabbit, jumping over the sun, so that's, passing over the equinox. And so this is a solar mythos. Okay, this is a solar mythos. And we'll see also that the sun is equated to the egg. People say the egg is life, but it's also is deeper than just that. It's the veneration of the primeval first time, where when the sun was first born into existence. So they talk about the primeval egg of creation. You feel me? And so a lot of these occult groups, the Orphic egg, and in Egypt, Ra is also symbolic of the egg too, the solar egg. Okay, and we'll see, and we most definitely gonna drop that heavy mental on that. Okay, so let me get up here. Yeah, here it is. Let me get right here. So again, you see here the sun, and this is where you get Passover from. Now, all that pagan shit about all that blood sacrifice, see, that's that rudimentary shit. Because they don't understand, but there's some symbolisms in there too. But that's that rudimentary shit, for those that's on the lesser level. You feel what I'm saying? For those on the lesser level, they get off into the rudimentary worship. They get off into the rudimentary worship and blood sacrifice and all of that. But the door is also key, that you are now moving from one stage of existence into another. So the doorway is key. But the blood sacrifice, that's the rudimentary level of the Jewish people, and the angel of death. And see, we have to understand the one thing about Passover. For the Jew, this is a genocidal festival, because number one, the firstborn of Egypt were all sacrificed in this festival. Okay, so we're going back to this Chronos. We're going back to this Saturn, and that's why I always say they venerate Saturn in their own understanding, not the way that we understand it, but in their own understanding. They equate Saturn with Chronos. And you see, Chronos was known to have eaten his children. And so anytime you see this, and God sacrificed all the firstborn, and Herod sacrificed all the boys under the age of 2, that's the Chronos blood sacrifice. That's the Chronos blood sacrifice that is, flooded throughout the Jewish mythology, psychology. And so that's rudimentary. That ain't got nothing to do with the cosmological placement of constellations and stars. And so when we talk about the rabbit, a lot of people say, oh, it's about fertility. It is about, but it's deeper than that. The deep aspect of it is the rabbit is symbolic of the sun. You see, and so as the rabbit leaps, You see, he travels in the same well, let me not say chronological, but astronomical plane that the sun takes when it passes over the equinox. You see, and so not only and it's still a solar deity, but the rabbit is also connected to water. If you go into ancient Egypt, you will see that the god is Unu, or they say Webnu, Unu. Okay, Unut, Unu. Okay, and so now the Pharaoh Unis, who was in the I believe Unis was in the 5th dynasty, but his pyramid is over there in Saqqara. If I'm not mistaken, I went to Unis pyramid. If it wasn't that one, it was Teddy's. But I believe I went to Unis pyramid. But you will see that the hair was sacred in Egypt, and you can see that it was always connected to water. Hold on, family. That's right, family. So you can see here that the rabbit was sacred to water and the sun. Hold on. My children making noise. Hold on. All right, fam. You know, we got them kids making noise. And so here we go. And so again, so this is solar mythos, and also dealing because what? We're gonna talk about the birth of the sun now. Ain't nobody dropping it like this. So when you see and understand that the hair is symbolic of the sun, is a solar deity. When you go look up Unu, you will see that Unu was venerated under the worship of Ra and Heru, connected to the solar deities. Okay, but you also see connected to water. And when you look at Nut, and that right there is Nut, the goddess of heaven, you see where Ra is born through the womb of Nut. You can see the symbols of water. You see in her body. You see the symbol of water in her body. And you seeing the sun born through the womb of Nut every day. This is the world's first resurrection story, and man took the cosmological resurrection and he anthropomorphized it. So when you look at the resurrection of Ra, you looking at the resurrection of Jesus, Osiris. These is, man, my children is gonna make me wait a minute. Hold just a sec. Back again. Clarity made. Here we go. So we see Again, we talking about the first primeval birth. From the first time that the sun rose up out of the primeval waters. So a lot of times you will see the rabbit. Here we go. Where that at? Where that at? No, I should have had it right there. Oh, I think it's up here somewhere. Okay, I think it's. Is that it? Where's the rabbit in the water? There are one of them, but that ain't technically the one I want. Here's another one right here. Yeah, well, you see the rabbit coming out. So when you understand, but see, this is occult understanding. If you don't have clarity on what the symbol represent, you gonna just see a goddamn rabbit coming up out the goddamn water. You're not gonna have no understanding of what this means. And so when you see that the rabbit is a anthropomorph, or not an anthropo, but a zoomorphic symbol, because certain cosmological entities, they'll have an anthropomorphic image, they'll have a zoomorphic image. Okay, so the cosmological image, you got the sun. You know what that is, the flaming ball of fire. And then you could have a zoomorphic symbol, which is Heru, the falcon. You see, you can have the falcon. Then you can have an anthropomorphic symbol of the sun, Osiris. Okay, you can have the Heru the younger, which is depicted as a child. That's anthropomorphic in the image. So many of these symbols, cosmological symbols have a zoomorphic or anthropomorphic image. Sometimes it could be a innate object. It could be a sword. It could be anything. When you think about the Garden of Eden, and you see that the angels guarded the four gates of Eden with a flaming sword. That flame, see, this is solar mythos. The flaming sword is symbolic of the sun. You see, and when you understand that, and you understand that these are mutanoids, that they were put out of Eden, and you will see that every time that they were put out, you will see them putting their hands up over their face to block the rays of the sun. You see? And so if you don't have no understanding, all of this is occult. You can read it on the you can read it on the layman level, or you can take it to the next level. And so you see here again that anytime you usually see the hare, the rabbit, the hare in ancient Egypt, you will see also water, that it was connected to water. Okay, now this is Unis, and you'll see in his cartouche right there, you see the hare. So these symbols are ancient. Now this is actually right here, Unu. Okay, the god is Unu, which is the hare. Okay, so it's symbolic of the black goddess. We got to understand that. And so there is birth, the concept of birth, being reborn. Being reborn. So this festival again is celebrating the primeval creation, the primeval first birth of creation. Now, I'm gonna let me go up here. So this is Unis right here. And you see the hairs in his cartouches. Unis, named after the goddess Unu. Okay? And so let me come back up here again. Let me come all the way to the top, because we got some science we're going to drop on this now. And I might have to add another another video. But you see right here, now we talking about Good Friday and you talk about Easter. Now the reality is nobody is telling y'all this, but actually the concept, wait a minute, the concept of Easter, you know, if you go into Christmas, where they tell you that the shortest day of the year, the shortest day of the year is you know, which is the 21st. It is. And it says that for 3 days the sun stayed in the shortest throughout the whole year. Those 3 days, no, actually 4, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, it really had no movement. It stayed in the shortest day of the year for 4 days. And on the 25th, it is the first day you will see where it moves, I think, like 1 degree north. And so they say that's the birth of the sun. But the reality is, when you talk about here, they talking about that Jesus died on Good Friday, and then he stayed in hell for 3 days, and then he was reborn on Easter. You see? So the reality is, for them northerners, that's the story. The story they got for that's the story should, you know, what they got for the spring equinox should be for Christmas. You see, it should be for Christmas, where Jesus, you know, on the 21st, he dies, right? He dies, which should be Good Friday. You see? And then he stays in hell for 3 days. That's what they say. And that's the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th. And on the third day, supposedly, he rose, which would have been on the 25th. Okay, on the 25th. So actually, the mythos that they got for the spring equinox is actually the story that they got for the winter solstice. So I say, well, how the fuck did they get that? Just show you that they're not chronologically correct. They don't know what the fuck they doing, and they don't. And this is real talk. They don't know. That's why this shit ain't right. That's why this shit change every now. I understand having the spring, you know, the spring festival and everything, but the storyline that they have for the spring equinox is actually the storyline for the winter solstice. Look it up. Tell me I'm wrong. And I'm going to say it again. Good Friday is supposedly the day that Jesus died. Okay? But that's supposed to be December 21st. Okay? Now, walk with me now. Walk with me. And he stayed in hell 3 days. That means the sun, it did not move for 3 days. It was at its shortest day of the year, the 21st, and it stayed there for 3 days, the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, and it rose on the 25th. So actuality, what the mythos that they have for the spring equinox is actually the mythos for the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. Tell me I'm wrong. I want anybody to tell. So I'm showing you where all of this shit is really, even though it's solar myth. Yes, it's Passover. Yes, it's Passover, but that don't mean that the mythos is in alignment. That's why it changes every goddamn year. Now, that mythos of the winter solstice does not change. It stays the same. So, you know, that makes more sense that the storyline that they have for the spring equinox should be for the winter solstice. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? Because it is not adding up that it changed every goddamn year, especially if it's supposed to be the the death of a man, which we already know is not the death of a man. We already know that. So this is solar mythos. So no matter what, and then when they show you this, now let me show you. So when you see Good Friday, you always see the sun setting. That's the death of the sun. Okay? But it's not the death of the sun. Spring is the sun is growing. It's not dying. You feel what I'm saying? It can't be the death of the sun in the spring. It's rising. And once it passes over the equinox, the days are getting longer and longer and longer, not shorter. It's not dying at all. Every matter of fact, from the winter, from December 25th, each day forward, the sun is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So the death of the sun on Good Friday, just, it don't correlate to reality. So this is just showing you this, because even when you talk about the months, and you'll see that, okay, that you got August, which is Augustus, or August, which is 7. Then you got September is 7. Let me clear that up. September is 7. October is 8. Septem, Octo, 8. Novum, 9. Decem, 10. But yet it's still September supposed to be the 7th month, but it's not. It's the 9th month. October supposed to be the 8th month, but it's not. I believe, what is it? The 10th month. Is it right? Am I right? No, it's not. October, yes, it is. So wait a minute. Let me get it right. September 7th. But it is the 9th month. That's right. It's the 9th month. October 9th. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, September. No, September. Okay. It's the 8th month. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay. It's the 9th month. Okay. September. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, September. So it's the 9th month. Okay, but it's supposed to be the 7th month. Let me get this correct. It's the 9th month, but it's supposed to be the 7th month. So it's 2 months ahead of itself. Okay, it's two months ahead of itself. Septem is 7. Okay, but it's the 9th month. So that show you right there that they're not in cosmological alignment. I had to get it correct because I'm just pulling out just pulling this lecture out, and I haven't warmed up like I supposed to, but it ain't gonna take me long. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. I just got to clarify myself. And so then you got October, which is 8, but it's not the 8th month. It's the 10th month. Each one of them 2 months ahead of itself. So it's supposed to be the 8th month, but it's actually the 10th month. Then you got October, November, which is 9. Okay, which is 9. Supposed to be the 9th month, but it's actually the 11th month. And then you got Decem, December, which is 10, supposed to be the 10th month, but it's actually the 12th month. They are not in astrological alignment. Okay, you got to understand that. So motherfuckers, if you follow behind it, and this is facts, that's why I don't believe a Cro-Magnon Neanderthal on shit, because they ain't been here long enough to know nothing. They haven't even corrected shit. Now, if you tell your child to put 8 on the board, or the teacher say put 8 on the board and you put 10, it's wrong. It's wrong. You see, if your teacher tell you to put 9 on the board and you put 11, it's wrong. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. That's numerically out of order. So somebody got to make this shit make sense. and they could have corrected it, but they didn't want to correct it. You see, they didn't have the capacity to correct that shit. And for a long time, that's all they had was 10 months. They had a void in there. They only had 10 goddamn months. And so they were so out of a goddamn alignment that I think it was Pope Gregory, they had to just cut 2 goddamn weeks because they wasn't following the leap year or none of that. They wasn't following the leap year, the leap day, or none of that. So all of them days caught up to them to the point where whole holidays was in a whole different goddamn season. That they sacred days shifted out of season, and they had to go in there and correct the goddamn calendar. You see? So I'm very clear, and I've never heard no one say that but me, that what they call the mythos. When you look at the mythos for this time period dealing with the death of Jesus, the rebirth of Jesus, that storyline should be in the winter solstice, not the spring equinox. So that's very clear. That's very clear. And the Passover is more reasonable because it's the passing over the sun over the equinox. So it seems as if the Serapis worshipers, piggybacked on the Passover. They piggybacked on the Passover, but the storyline didn't mesh. The storyline did not mesh for these two holidays. But it is solar mythos. And at the end of the day, you have to go to a more ancient origin to get the truth of the reality. And so what are we learning today? That the rabbit, and we're going into another session of this. We understand that the rabbit is a solar zoo type, symbolic of the sun. So when you see the rabbit leap over the sun, this is symbolic of the sun passing over the equinox. This is all that is. And so at that time, you'll see life of flowers and vegetation and trees full bloom. And one of the first things you will see is rabbits running around and things. And so they become a zoo type, sacred to the spring season, sacred to the solar worship. That's what this is. And so, this go back, because when you're talking about solar worship, this is an African religion. White people do not worship the sun. Don't believe that. Ain't nobody that burning and shit and getting all, they not venerating. They venerate storm gods. They do not venerate solar deities. If you go into the mythos of every white man religion, his supreme god is a storm god. One that's going to bring clouds, that's going to bring rain, because with the clouds, that's blocking out the sun. You see what I'm saying? So if you go into you go into the Nordic, you're gonna get Thor, Thor, Odin. You see, in their understanding of those deities, they are storm gods. Zeus, thor and lightning. He come in with the clouds. He come on the clouds. Jupiter. They're all storm god. They do not venerate the sun. That's why they can't get this shit right, because it's not their religion. You see what I'm saying? So don't be trying to worship no damn man. You see what I'm saying? If you think this is about a man, you totally wrong. You're totally wrong, because they don't have no idea when but they say that he was crucified near Passover. Okay, they say he was crucified near Passover, and so that's what they say. That's what they say. But they mythos, they astrotheology is not in sync with reality. That's just all it is to it. And if any Christian, any scientist, they want to talk about it, we could talk about it, make it make sense. I could put it right on the winter solstice, and it fit like a puzzle. It fit together like a puzzle. You see, you put it over here, You say, God damn, it don't even add up. Because they say he was crucified on Friday, but he rose on goddamn Sunday. Goddamn, he rose on Sunday morning, so 24 hours is a goddamn day. So I mean, 24 hours is a damn day. No matter how you do it, if he was crucified before sundown Friday, okay, and so before sundown Saturday is one day, before sundown Sunday is just 2 damn days. Goddamn, that's two. It ain't even 2 damn days. They say he rose goddamn Sunday morning. Goddamn, they said they had to well, I think Passover is a Saturday. So it started when I believe the moon when the sun set on Friday, that's the start of Passover. So they had to crucify him before sundown Friday. Okay, they had to crucify him before sundown Friday because it's sacrilegious to crucify people during the Sabbath. It's against the law. And so, okay, so if they crucified him before the sun set on Friday, before the sun set on Saturday is one day. Before the sun set on Sunday is 2 days. But he rose Sunday morning. That ain't even 3 goddamn days. So even if you take that story and place it on, that's why people have, you could go all over the internet. They say that's not working. You know why it's not working? Because it's not the season for the story. The story is actually the winter solstice. Okay. And the general is the first person you're going to hear this from. And I've been teaching this for the longest. And I ain't heard nobody, but it makes sense. It make goddamn sense. Okay, so I tell you what, family, this is just part 1. We coming right black. Don't you go nowhere. We in here, for your soul of worship. If you come here to get an Easter basket and goddamn a happy Jesus Day and all that, Jesus was resurrected, you a goddamn lie. I'm going to get on Good Friday too. Matter of fact, I'm going to get on Good Friday too because y'all know good and goddamn well Jesus didn't want to die for your black ass. You know that. So I'm tired of you talking about, oh, Jesus died for our sin. Oh, God damn it, Jesus didn't die for your sin. Jesus died because God the Father did not answer his call when he put the call in and say, oh, please, good Father, could you save me from death? Then, God damn it, God didn't save him. God reneged on Jesus. God the Father reneged on Jesus, and I'm going to bring it back to you. Don't go nowhere. I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit the like button, share it with your family and friends. I got some links over in the chat. Please support the general, and I'll be right black. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.